Okay, everybody, it is 9 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So good morning, everyone, and happy Black History Month. And thank you all for coming out to our first LPD of the year. So I'm Keisha Coffey, the Secretary of the Untitled Chapter. And listen, today we have a very, very, very special guest in store for you all. Her name is Precious, the Killer Pitch Master Williams to you all, but to me, she's my big sister. And so she is here today to give us some tips and tricks on how to perfect our pitches, as well as how to effectively communicate. So I'm sure many of you all have read her bio or probably have looked her up on Facebook, Instagram, or hopefully you watched some of her videos on YouTube. But if you didn't, I'm just going to go over a little bit of her bio so that you can truly understand who she is and what she does. She is a 13-time, need y'all to hear that. She is a 13-time national elevator pitch champion. She has been featured on Shark Tank, CNN, TED Talk, Black Enterprise Magazine, Essence Magazine, the movie Leap. She is also a national best-selling author of 3 books. She has an article in Forbes. She's had a billboard in Times Square. I know, right? And lastly, she is the CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious, where she assists brands and speakers with effectively communicating as well as staying booked, busy, and can we say paid. So to me, like I said, she's my sister. So I know her, she is absolutely fearless. And she lives by the motto, failure isn't fatal. She has been a blessing to me. And I hope this morning she will be a blessing to you all. So what I'm going to do is let her introduce herself and give you guys a little bit more meat and potatoes that's not on her bio. So she's currently in New York, so it's evening time for her. So good evening. Good evening, Precious.
Good evening.
Again, thank you for being here, like free of charge. I know you charge thousands of dollars, but thank you so much. So the floor is yours if you can just introduce yourself and then we'll get this party started.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Where does the money reside? Where the money reside? Where the money reside? Where the money reside? My name is Precious Williams, and I am affectionately known as the Killer Pitch Master. Now, why do they call me that? It's because I'll help you slay all competition. And being the Killer Pitch Master and a 13-time national elevator pitch champion or corporate trainer at the top Fortune 500 financial services companies and tech companies, I can show you how to get the promotions that you've been looking for, how to sell your products and services with ease, how to go from being a free speaker to a book busy and paid speaker, and how to really get corporate training contracts, just in case some of y'all want that. And I started off in the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri. There was no way when I was growing up that people ever thought I'd be where I am today. And that's why I love teaching the art and science of a killer pitch. And I love that every time I got on stage at 327 pounds, people could not believe that I got on stage like pre-Beyonce. We ain't talking about Beyonce, we're talking about pre-Beyonce. And I would slay all competition because I wasn't worried about, because they already thought I was going to talk about food and brownies and stuff like that. I'm talking about a red hot love affair with a very famous Hollywood actor who I got with a pitch. My claim to fame is really turning your perceived flaws into your secret weapon, being a bad bitch with a power pitch, and helping men become bad men with master pitching plans. And so, as my sister said, yes, I've had billboards in Times Square. Yes, I've been in movies and documentaries around the world. Yes, I'm an international professional speaker. And I dreamed about this before it ever happened. And I kept going despite all the failures I've ever had. I just had to learn how to fail forward. I know I turned you off. So at the end of the day, I'm very, very happy to be here. And we're going to talk a little bit about my backstory. We're going to talk a little bit about like, what did it take to get here from St. Louis, Missouri, the inner city of St. Louis, Missouri, go to college and law school on full rides and get the biggest companies and the VIPs around the world to notice me and then want to book me, hire me to teach them how to do what other people can't. So I'm Precious Williams, Killer Pitch Master, proud founder and CEO of Perfect Pitches by Precious. And yes, I did appear on Shark Tank season 8 in 2016. 7 of my clients have appeared on Shark Tank, successfully been funded, all 7 of them. I've trained over 200 business pitch champions who raised millions of dollars for their companies. And I started with a dream. I started at 5 years old, knowing I would have a billboard in Times Square and I would be a syndicated talk show host. Now, I've hosted 3 shows in New York City, but I want to be nationally syndicated. And on the show them at 43 years old, I'm just getting
on here, but it kept saying incorrect.
Could you mute your mic, ma'am? Good morning. Thank you. Precious?
Yes, Queen.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna leave it at that because I know we got questions and you listen, we going in today.
Okay.
I love talking about pitching. I love talking about, moving forward and things like that. And so let's get it. I'm gonna tell y'all, my phones are off, and I know y'all hearing pinging. That's my iPad. So let me turn that off because people are going hand and cheese right now, trying to get at me, which is weird. But go ahead, give it to me.
Okay. So my next question for you
was to get on Shark Tank. They might want to know what I do sharks.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm gonna start with a different question since we're starting off with your introduction. So, how did you know that pitching was going to be your journey to success, or it was going to be the thing that was going to catapult you into the star that you are?
I'll be honest. I started pitching out of necessity. So I have a background as an attorney in the great state of New York. Yes, I passed the bar on my first try. Moved up here, was an attorney, and I was like, man, this ain't gonna work for me. This is boring. Like, I don't know how to sit in the office all day. I don't know how to do all this kind of stuff. And I had just left my ex-fiance, and I was feeling really down. And one of my friends said, hey, let's put a little ad on a dating website. And I was like, okay, not knowing what that meant, but I wrote a trying to figure out how to cut this off. I wrote a little ad. It's called To the Tango. So I wrote a poem, and in that poem, I just wrote it. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I'm feeling okay. So I wrote this poem called To the Tango, and I met 3 wonderful brothers in New York City. But the one that totally took my breath away was a very famous Hollywood actor, and I did not think it was really him. Oh, and I was 327 pounds when I left my ex-fiance. That's how much trauma, drama, and stress it was towards the end. And when I met him, I'm thinking, oh, he's just humoring a big girl. This ain't gonna be nothing. But it was a great experience. And I called my girls like, oh, girl, it was cool. He was a really nice guy. He texted me saying, when we gonna do this again? Wait a minute, I'm 327. I know he ain't trying to go out with me again. Yes, he was. And we started dating, and he would fly me out to different sets. And I was like, this is like the big dream. And the more I thought about my attorney life, I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work. And I wanted to start a company called Curvy Girls Lingerie, the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. Nobody believed in me. They were like, you need to stay being an attorney. Somebody paid for your education, And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I said, if other people can go find themselves and have gap years, I just gotta try. So I tried to get family and friends to invest. Nope, nobody believed in me. And when my back is against the wall, that's when you get the absolute best of me. So I quit my legal position. I had negative $400 in my bank account, couldn't afford none. I couldn't even afford ramen noodles. It was rough. And I got this circular in the mail from Cranes Business New York. And it was $300 to go there, but I saw the people that were going to be in the room, and God was telling me, you're going to do this. So I got a credit card, put the ticket price on the credit card, put on my best Calvin Klein dress, 3 pairs of shapewear, did not know what I was walking into. I walked into that place, and all these great New York businesses, all of these like celebrities, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm looking at the media sponsors. One was MSNBC, one was CNBC, like, And I walked up to the producers of MSNBC. I didn't know what I was going to say. They were like, oh, they're just talking. I'm like, they look at me, I look at them. They're like, Who are you? I said, well, I'm glad you asked. My name is Precious Williams, and I'm the proud founder and CEO of Curvy Girls Lingerie. We're the ultimate shopping experience for full-figure divas and plus-size fashionistas. You can call me the female MacGyver of business because I what always deliver. They looked at me, and they started laughing. I'm like this. That's all I got. I couldn't think of nothing else. They were like, that was really good. Have you heard of our show, Elevator Pitch? Word? I hadn't. But when you're in Rome, you got to do what Romans do. I said, everybody's heard of that show. They said, you know what? We're going to bring the host of the show over to talk to you. My bladder was so full. JJ Rainberg walks over to me. Oh, I've heard of that. Oh my God, I'm really about to talk to myself on national television. I got negative $40 in my bank account. Oh, wow. And she got an award on stage. So they brought me her booking producer, a tall, elegant Black woman. She took one look at me. She gave me the look up and down that we all know so well. And she said, oh, I've heard of you, Precious Williams. I knew she hadn't because my name wasn't nowhere. And she said, give me your elevator pitch. And there was a threat in her voice. And I went ham and cheese on her. I just kept going. I had this confidence with me. I had a little swag in there because I was making it up as I was going, right? And she said, stop. That was good. You're going to be on the show. What she couldn't tell is that there were tears in my eyes, but it was dark and I had my glasses on. She said, can I have your business card? Y'all, I didn't have money for business cards, but I couldn't tell her that. I said, I've been here all night. I ran out of cards. She was like, all right, no problem. She hands me her business card. I didn't have the money to get there, nor did I have money to get home, but I did get home. And I emailed her. A couple of days later, she calls and she's like, girl, yeah, no, we're looking for your website. Producers, we all excited. We didn't have a website, but I couldn't tell her. I said, you know what? We're going through a rebranding process at this point. By the time you have us on the show, we'll be ready. She's like, okay, all right, cool. So me and my friends put the jankiest website you've ever heard together. You've ever seen. Don't go to way back on because you can be like, woo, that was rough. But it was enough for him to come pick me up in a Cadillac Escalade and drive me to Rockefeller Center, a place I've seen like in my dreams and on television. I walked in, they put me in makeup. I had a mohawk already, I had a black dress on. They had my lingerie already set up. And Alex Witt was there, Melissa Harris Purry. And they're like, oh, we're gonna come see you. And I'm like, they brought me out on set. They put the two investors in front of me. And action. And I was pitching. And it's almost like I got out of sight of myself. I was watching myself like, yo, you doing this? You really doing it? And it was over in 54 seconds. And after I finished, it's like I went deaf. When my hearing came back, they were talking to me. I don't know what they were saying, but I heard JJ Rainberg say, that was one of the best pitches we've ever heard in the history of this show. And I walked away with $500,000. And I thought back to people who said, I would never, no, my business couldn't take off. No one's going to believe in it. But they did. And they told me, you need to enter pitch competitions because you really are that good. Mind you, I had no training. I've been speaking professionally since I was 16. And I entered 14 competitions. Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Columbia, grad school, tech companies, international companies. And every one of these people that I went up against just thought I was a bum or like, oh, cookies, cakes, pies. All right. So when you see me get on that stage, you're about to know what time it is. And at 13 out of 14 times, I was number one. Got those coins and I was out. You know what I mean? So that was wonderful. And then I'd already been prepping people for Shark Tank, right? Because people had heard of me and they wanted to work with me, but I didn't think I could teach what is natural for me. And if I was like, you know what, I'm leaving money on the table. Let me just see. I'm taking on some beta clients and see what we do. And they won. All of them. And Perfect Pictures by Precious was born. So Keisha, it started out of necessity. I didn't have a backup plan. There wasn't family who was going to prop me up. Like I had nothing and no one believed, but I kept believing. And I'm glad that I kept believing because I'm at my best when people think that I can't. And so that's why I'm in Brooklyn, New York. That's why, I fly all over the world on somebody else's dime to teach and to train on, and basically to show women, especially, that what you see on television, what you see in entrepreneurship, everybody's got to be young, TikTok. I'm 43 years old, 43. And I'm speaking at Harvard. I'm speaking at Columbia University next week, right? I speak at Spelman College, Morehouse College, George Washington University, Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank, Intuit, QuickBooks. My newest client is Yelp. I was getting booked and I was having surgery. My phone kept going off because people were booking me. My agent had things. And so it started out of necessity and I kept going. And just like when I went on Shark Tank, they were just shocked. I mean, I left them quiet, like, wow. And so that's how I started, out of necessity. Nobody believed in. I had to go and show, sometimes I can show you better than I can tell you.
I know that's right. Well, I got plenty of questions, and that is such amazing testimony. So I want to get into the meat and potatoes because what we're trying to do is learn how to perfect our pitches, right? But what is the pitch and why do we need one? Okay. What is it?
First of all, pitch is just a short, brief way of introducing yourself to you hope is an interested party. And what you're hoping to do is get all the way to sealing a deal. And what I mean by that is either getting a sale, staying top of mind for promotions and things like that, great opportunities. You're hoping to just make such an impression that you're unforgettable so that you answer that question. Why should I choose you over anyone else? Well, the choice is clear. There's no one else here who matters but me for this particular problem. Everyone needs a pitch. Even if you're in high school, everyone needs a pitch. Everyone's been through interviews and you will continue to go through interviews. You may be interviewed by media. You may be interviewed by superior. You may want to start a business, like a little side hustle. You might want to do that. Or you might have great stories you can tell that can benefit others, that people will pay you handsomely for. Maybe you want to create a digital product. But if people don't know you, they're not going to buy. And if you can't make people come to you, you're going to have a problem. And so a pitch in many ways puts you top of mind. So everybody needs a pitch because everybody's selling something, whether it's themselves, their books, their businesses, their brands, their products, or their services. Everybody. And there's 6 different types of pitches to be had. The most common is the elevator pitch, right? So you have 30 to 60 seconds. All of us have been to networking events. What are you going to say that's really going to stand out to someone? And so I teach different ways of how you open up. And so at the end of the day, everybody needs a pitch. A pitch is just a short, brief introduction to know who you are, who you serve, why does it matter, why should I choose you, and what's your call to action. And for those of you who are very visual, when it comes to pitching, honestly, it's the holidays, right? No matter what holidays everyone here celebrates. You're going over somebody else's house because you're not cooking in your house. Maybe it's grandma, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your significant other, whatever. Friends, family. You smelling that food before you can get through the door. You're like, oh yeah, it's about to go down. You talking to people, you rapping, y'all chopping it up, y'all, fat mouthing. And dinner's on the way. So dinner, we're about to have dinner. So you start putting everything on your plate that you're gonna have for that first round, right? You getting, smells good. You about to go in. You're looking around, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy. I want you to focus on what's on that plate. What are you putting on that plate, right? So it's probably gonna be some starches, some carbohydrates, some vegetables, whatever. I like to eat meat, so some meat's gonna be on that plate, just so you know. Maybe some cranberry sauce, maybe some macaroni and cheese, whatever it is. I want y'all to envision that plate. Envision that plate. That plate represents you. It represents your network. It represents the things you want to come up with, the opportunities you want to be placed before you. It is everything that stands out about you. If you want to start a business, it's your business, your books, your brands, your product, your services, things you want to get out there, that big dream, all of that is on that plate. After y'all have said grace, that first fork or spoon that you put in, because you're about to go ham and cheese, peanut butter and jelly. That first fork or spoon, that's your pitch. A pitch is a juicy morsel, an enticement of more to come. So you just want to entice people. You're not giving them the full meal deal. They're not entitled to that. You just want to give them a taste, and you hope that they want another taste. So you just bring them in. Some people can sell like that. Sometimes you got to build a relationship, but you're staying top of mind. So that's why a pitch is not everything. And people want to throw the whole kitchen sink. They ain't, nah. If Oprah and you get on, if you're in the elevator, Oprah gets on, what are you gonna say? Here's what you ain't gonna say. Oprah, I've loved you for years. I was watching your show. I'm on. She hears that all the time. So what are you gonna say to cut through the clutter and the noise that everybody else is gonna throw at her? And that's how you kill the game. So when it comes to pitching, here's some ways I really want you. The main point of a pitch. Let me just go over the basics of a pitch. You definitely want to let them know who you are. So that can be your name. Who do you serve? Or you know, who do you serve, right? So what type of things do you do that really stand out? You want to know, like, who is the target market for whatever it is that you're doing, right? Is it tweens? Is it teens? Is it women? Is it men? Is it senior citizens? Is it women of a certain age, men of a certain age? Who is it? Is it people who are differently abled? Is it, you know, what is it? Who do you really serve? What do you bring to the table that they need? Because you need to bring it up. What is their specific challenge? What is their specific problem? And how do you solve it? What is your call to action? What do you want them to do after they hear you? Make it plain and make it clear. The most important things with a basic pitch that I really want y'all to think about, because all of us will throw out our solution. Man, I'm the greatest photographer, whatever. If they're not looking for a photographer, what difference does it make? If you're a commercial photographer and I need a wedding photographer, no. And I spoke before 10,000 at the Professional Photographers of America conference in DC. 10,000 photographers. I spoke before as a keynote speaker. So overall, who you are, who do you serve? What's the audience? What's their problem? Before you offer a solution, how do they know that you know what their problem is? What's your call to action? What do you want them to do next? Do you want them to check out something? Do you want to hand them something? Do you want them to go to www.perfectpicturesbyprecious.com? Do you want to check you out on LinkedIn? Do you want them to know? Do you want them to pitch, please? Like, you really want to set yourselves apart. So I'll stop there because I can go into killer pitch mode, but I definitely want y'all to understand what a basic pitch has. And it doesn't matter in what industry that you're in. You want you want to stay top of mind with people, and you want to stand out in a crowded marketplace. There are hella speakers out there. I can tell you that right now. They're hella. Most people want to say, oh, well, you know, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm a transformational speaker, I'm an inspirational speaker. I ain't none of that. You'll get that, but that's not what I'm the killer pitch master. I don't compete with Les Brown. I don't compete with Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, Brene Brown, Lisa. I don't compete with none of these people. Because I'm in pitching, I'm in communication skills. Because after motivation, I'm gonna need you to take some action. So I'm gonna show you how to do that.
Precious, I've got a question for you from the group.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot on me.
All right. So would you say that the confidence that you need and kind of those pivotal moments, does that come from necessity? Was it something you developed? Is it something that's just always been within you? How do you coach people through that maybe aren't as confident to go into these situations and present themselves?
Well, quite honestly, it's not even faking it till you make it. It's faithing it till you made it. Like, I had this vision of where I was going. I can't fake it, right? But I can faith it, right? As my sister knows, the love of my life died. And the grief was so overwhelming that even though I just appeared on Shark Tank, even though it was in a movie with Sir Richard Branson and Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, flying all over the world, I could not get it together. And it got so bad that I was getting into it with my business partner. And I just felt so down. I tried to take my life on my 38th birthday. Obviously, I'm here because I just turned 43 2 weeks ago. And I was ashamed. I was ashamed. And people told me, those big time people, you'll never be on stage again. You've fallen too far. And if it wasn't for angels coming my way, Joanne Francis, who was my social worker friend, she got me into the Bowery Mission Women's Center, which is not a shelter, it's a Christ Center, a life transformation program. And it was a beautiful place because nobody really knew about it. They know about the Bowery Mission for men. The Women's Center, Better Homes and Gardens furnished that place. Do you hear me? We had everything. We only ate Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, and we learned how to cook. We learned how to be in community and stuff like that. Man, I was living. Every time the lady who was over the particular program, when she left the room, she would leave it for me to come in. So that's part of pitching too. Like, how was I able to get her to see something in me she couldn't see in other people? Anyway, the reason why I had to faith it is because when everyone thought it was over, like, oh man, she was on Shark Tank, she's washed up, she's this, it would hurt me. And the staff at the bar were like, oh, just get a high paying job. Just go back to doing what you're doing. That wasn't what I wanted. And that's not what God told me. So when I graduated, the Bowery wanted me to stay. And the pastor of our church, Trinity Baptist, Pastor James Leonard and his wife, they came to me and they were like, when you graduating, because we want you to come live with us. Word. Okay. And how that even happen? I stayed top of mind with him. I showed him I was ready. Came, lived here. I've been here ever since. I live in a 2-bedroom by myself. You don't see nobody running through here. It's me, right? And so I faced that. And I had to believe what no one else did. And Keisha will tell you, my birth mother always told me I was ugly, stupid, I'd never make it, never have a man, never have friends, all that kind of stuff, right? And that played in my mind, but another thing played in my mind. I'm a star and she just can't see it yet. It's only a matter of time. Jay-Z said in his song Encore, the only thing that matters is just a matter of years. And in a matter of years, I was at Beaumont High School, 3836 Natural Bridge in St. Louis, Missouri. The inner city high school kids get murdered all the time, you know what I'm saying? And yet I graduated first in my class. Miss Beaumont, 1996, 1997, with a parade in the city of St. Louis. But I wasn't gonna be nothing. And yet I went to Spelman College on a full scholarship. Georgetown University Law Center on a full scholarship. Got kicked out though. Started over at Rutgers on a full scholarship. Had a nervous breakdown though. Finished #1 student attorney in my class. Passed the February 2007 bar. Went on that stage, already passing the bar. I already knew this is a done deal now. And so when I look back over my life, from my mother to my father, to guidance counselors, to people counting me out, I look at my grandmother. I have one of my clients made a blow up picture of my grandmother because she was always there when I spoke. And so I look over at her at times like, man, you still here. She's been dead since 2000. Faith it. She told me I had the gift of speech. She woke me up doing like affirmations. We had the Leave to Beaver lifestyle in the hood. And so I had a home cooked meal, and then my grandma would drive me to school and she would come pick me up. She'd be like, I wish somebody would. Now my grandmother's in her 60s and said, come on. But she was ready to fight for me. I never saw it in my entire life. And so faith in it. And confidence is a muscle you have to use. You have to use it. It's like when we tell men and women, know your worth. I don't care if you better know something, but you better ask for it too. Don't assume people know your worth. So step to them. And sometimes you're like, oh man, that might be too much. I'm not afraid to walk away. Because when you come back again, you know the price is going to be double because you underestimated me. And when you saw me in that MasterCard priceless ad campaign, when you saw me doing some things, please believe I know who I am. You need to know who I am. So I think it's just the confidence, you have to use it. I get scared every time I speak. I do. I still get nervous. And that's how I know I take it seriously. But as my sister knows, I don't care who you put me on stage with. I have no fear of competing against anybody on the stage. No fear. You the best speaker in the world, prove it, because I'm coming.
Oh, wow.
Did that answer your question, Kim?
That was great. So it was from Amani McCoy. Did you have anything additional? Let's see, I don't see anything in the chat. So over to you, Keisha.
Okay, I just want to go. You said something, Precious, that spoke to my spirit. You said you have to be bold. You have to be able to stand out in the crowd. So, say if you're an introvert and you might be too scared to stand out in the crowd, and you're too scared to pitch, how do you navigate through that? Tell us.
So she said, tell us. Okay, first of all, I have introvert clients and I have extrovert clients, right? I do. And I teach them how to work with their strengths. Like I want, when people are introverted, I want you to draw on that. So I'm like, you the quiet storm. So when you stand up in front of people, have y'all ever met someone who they were a person of few words, but when they spoke, everybody was like this? Because they're about to drop that teeth. Now with me, like, Preston's always talking about something. You're like, she always on some stuff. She be on some old stuff. When that person talk, I said, so how do we make sure that people listen when you start talking? So I told them, drop a set of books. Like, don't be afraid to throw props up in here. You know, like, listen, I always come with my hashtag true T. Pitch, please. I wish you would. Pitch, please. I'm about that. Pitch y'all with the P. So I'm like, drop a set of books or stand there like Tupac. All eyes on me. You got to make people come to you. And me as the killer pitch master, and I have a big personality, right? So I'm gonna work it. So people don't like me. I'm unbothered and unconcerned because the people that love me and want me, they're gonna see it immediately. For the quiet storm, we're gonna work on, like, what are some of the techniques in your speech patterns, the cadence? Because I don't want people to sound boring, because when people sound boring, you're like this. Like, is paint drying? Whatever, right? So we work on those sort of things. So for the introvert, I'm like, we're gonna work on that quiet storm. Sometimes I tell them, you know, let everybody sit down and you walk down the aisle. I know it's gonna be scary, but one of the things is you got to work on these muscles. So walk down the aisle. I know you scared. Shoot, I've been there. You stand up. When you open your mouth, all eyes got to be on you. And also make sure that whoever you're working with, like if you are doing a presentation that's not virtual, but it's live, make sure that the person that you are working with or whoever's introducing you or whatever, make sure they get it right. Your job is to shine. My job ain't nothing else to do. And me being the gregarious personality, when I speak, like I meet people initially, we all chummy, but when I'm backstage, I don't say nothing to nobody. I'm getting in my zone. You know how Kanye says, don't let me get in my zone. Don't let me get in my zone. Don't let me get in my zone. Acting like the song ain't mine. What? So I got to get into the zone. I have my 4 theme songs that I listen to. And I also say this for introverts. Number 1, I got to be listening to Michael Jackson, Bad. Because if I got to be bad in a Brooklyn subway, yes, and the whole world has to answer right now. Number 2, Diva, Beyonce. Because I'm not the traditional diva. You know what I'm saying? And then number 3, Moment for Life, Nicki Minaj. And I love, she said, in this very moment, I'm king. In this very moment, I slay Goliath with the sling. And I'm like, yes. And I have to go through that. And then Eminem, Lose Yourself. Because I need to be in that kind of zone. Like, they already underestimating me. I'm about to go out and kill it. I'm about to kill it. And so when he has that third stanza, and he's just going in, mama, I can't rap, so don't laugh at me, y'all. But he says, mama, I cannot grow old as Salem's not. So here I go, it's my shot. Feet fail me not. This may be the only opportunity that I got. And that's why when my back is against the wall, you're going to get the absolute best, because so many people have underestimated me. And now you're about to feel the fire of Precious. That's why I think I was named the way I was, because it was like, I was star name. It's about time to show up like I am one. So what are your theme songs? And if you're an extrovert, that's not a bad thing. In fact, I think most people are and try to front like they're extroverts. So utilize that, work with it, drop some books, make sure that people know what time it is. For my extroverts, when you're pitching, you're speaking or whatever, you still need time to go back and collect yourself, because I expend a lot of energy when I speak. So sometimes afterwards, after I'm finished talking or whatever, I have to go to my room and be quiet for hours. I need God to speak to me and I need to gain my energy back. I need to have that food, So yeah, hope I answers your question. There's nothing wrong with introvert, extrovert, or an ambivert. There's nothing wrong with it. The older I get, the more I feel like I really am an ambivert, because I can't be with people 24/7 like I used to.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yes, you definitely answered the question. You said something earlier about there was different types of pitching. The elevator pitch was the most common one. What
Right.
What are the other ones?
So there's the media pitch. So like getting in magazines, television shows, podcasts, that's media, right? Then there's the investor pitch. So say you created something and you need some, where the money reside, what them dollars at?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to say to get an investor to want to invest in your company, right? And then you have your speaker pitch. So I'm going to tell you, a lot of speakers are speaking for free, hoping and praying it turns into something. Now they 10 years in, and still ain't nobody paying them. I want to show you how to be booked, busy, and paid. And Queen and Keisha goes back to setting yourself apart. That's why I'm the killer pitch master. And I don't allow people to put me in the box of motivational speaker, because when you do that, man, I'm not competing with Les Brown. I'm the killer pitch master. And so then you have your interview pitch. So when you're interviewing for certain positions, you need to see throughout the entire process that you're the only choice that matters, right? And then you have your sales pitch. So how do you bait, attract, and close with ease, right? So I know y'all see on the internet, people are like, oh, automate everything. Oh, just create a program and people are going to buy. That's a lie. It's a lie. Just because Jake Paul can do it and other people can do it, you still need to build up a network that wants to buy from you. And so that's why in my book, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency, I want to show that I'm going to show you how to build and rebuild your network. Some of us are in the wrong networks that will never help, because we are all too comfortable just doing nothing or doing the bare minimum. But when we start stepping into other networks, the conversation gets real different, because they like, what them dollars at? I mean, how many speaking engagements? I mean, they're asking, I'm like, oh, shoot, the conversation is straight different, because they trying to put me on, you know what I'm saying? And so I think I saw a question of how to, I thought I might have seen that question, but those are the 6 different types. And because those are different audiences, you definitely need different types of pitches. You definitely do.
Jackie, could you funnel some of those questions from in the group? I saw a couple come through.
Yeah, absolutely. There's one that is, could we please dive into more of the interview pitch, what that consists of and what it should look like? How can we be successful?
Okay. I think that's a dope question. So with the
can I stop you just 1 second?
Yeah.
So for everybody that's asking questions, and I was going to get to this a little bit later, but since we're being a little loose with how we're doing the LPD, which I'm absolutely loving. So Precious is giving away her books, which I know you heard from the beginning introduction when I said she is a best-selling author of 3 books. And I know you just saw her mug that says pitch please, and she has a couple other mugs. So for the first 6 people who are asking questions, they will receive a mug and a book. So if you're a part of that 6, which we're keeping tally, just make sure that you email myself, last name Coffey, Coffey, first name Lakeisha, Lakisha, and Ms. Jackie, you put that in the chat, and just make sure you email me. I'm on Global, and we're going to make sure that we get that to you all. And that's something Miss Precious is doing, just to make sure that you have some of her merchandise. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just so they know what you're
Hey,
providing
girl, listen,
them,
we
knowledge
flowing.
and merchandise. Go ahead, Precious. Sorry about that.
Girl, that's a public service announcement. It's all good in the street on these hoods. It's all good. So when it comes to the interview pitch, you've gotten the interview. One of the things that you really have to think about, people tell you, oh, research, all that's great. That's really wonderful. But an interview, when they start asking those questions, tell us about yourself. I need you to already have something ready, right? You know how people are like, oh, I don't want to sound rehearsed. If you do it long enough, if you practice long enough, it's not going to sound rehearsed. It's going to sound natural, right? So when it comes to answering that question, and we're thinking about whatever the particular position is, for whatever it is, what can you look to in your background that shows that you either overcame something or something happened on the way, so a failure happened on the way to success, or something that truly relates to the duties of what it is and what you've already done beforehand, right? So with me, I only get interviewed on podcasts and for things like this, right? But how I start off, like I was thinking about it like when I was a lawyer, what's your opening statement? So you know how they, you sit in the interview and you're looking at them, they're looking at you. I want you to take the bull by the horn and throw something at them about you. It could be a fun fact. It could be something, but what you want to do is impress in their mind just something special about you, right? Most people answer interview questions the same way. Boring. So inject some humor into it. So everybody knows that I don't know because you have never met me. I love the Golden Girls. I've loved the Golden Girls, and I used to think I was a Golden Girl, even though, what was I, 10? And I love that they always solve their problems over cheesecake, which I absolutely love cheesecake, all types, even more than the Cheesecake Factory. My favorite episode of the Golden Girls is Journey to the Center of Attention, because in that episode, Blanche, who, they were at the Rusty Anchor, so, Blanche was just doing her thing, just being beautiful. Well, Dorothy went, and none of the men were paying her any attention. I know that. I used to know that feeling. And so she sat with the piano player, and the piano player heard her humming. He said, oh, you sing? She said, no. He starts tickling the ivories again. She said, a little. And he said, sing, what'll I do? She started singing, and the men who were looking at Blanche in her hot red outfit started listening to Dorothy, and they crowded around her, and she kept singing. And I don't know, in my young mind, I had already been through a lot at 10, but I wanted that, right? And here she was. She's not the prettiest of the Golden Girls, but her talent shone through, and the men were hanging off their seats, right? And that has always stayed in my mind. And that's why I go so hard with what I do. That's why I pride myself in investing in myself as a speaker. That's why I pride myself on never dialing it in for anything that I do. That's why I'm thankful for every customer and client that I've ever had. That's why I go so hard on sales and sales scripting. And that's why I do what I do, because I never want people to think that everything is out of their reach if they don't look, sound, and act a certain way. I decided to defy the odds and come out as authentic and as transparent as possible. And thank God that my talent made room in spaces that my beauty, my lack of beauty ever would have, right? So we were like, dang. And I love old school country music like Patsy Cline and Hank Williams, because they go cheating hard. I was feeling that. And Patsy Cline walking out the midnight. What? Stop it. And so, so starting off with something that kind of breaks the mood. And then remember, you're sitting throughout the process of the interview. So even as you're answering, the direct questions, don't be afraid to slide a little something in there that can take a turn, because you have to be willing to take risks, and only those who risk something achieve something. If I walked in here with a black outfit on, pearls, my hair perfectly straight or whatever, that's not me. And I wouldn't even know how to act. That's how I was as an attorney. And that's why it didn't make sense to me over time that I'm not sitting in an office for people to just look at and gawk at me and trot me out for diversity. I'm Precious Williams, and I can wipe the floor with every attorney in this place. And that's why you don't want me. But I'll exit stage left and go find where I'm celebrated and not tolerated. And so an interview is about you noticing, hey, what do you see in them? Is this a place you need to be? Because being miserable is not where I need to be at 40 years old. Never that. So I hope that in hearing that there are things in your background you may have been ashamed or afraid to talk about, or some funny stuff that happened. Listen, the interviewers are already bored and tired and hearing the same answers. Throw them a curveball and see what happens. And remember, your job is to answer the question, why you? Why you? You're the only choice that matters. And so if you want to sound like everybody else, you get treated like everybody else, average, random, and ordinary. So that's why I show up with blue hair, pink hair, gold. This is me too, trying to pretend I'm the corporate chick, trying to pretend. But hey, I do love that hair color. So yeah, that's me. And so for me as a speaker, speaking at banks and speaking at Google, and LinkedIn is my biggest client. They never want me to come in and look like I did as an attorney. In fact, I spoke to two of my contacts high up at LinkedIn today, and I said, hey, I just want to stay top of mind with y'all. And they were like, girl, you better stop. I said, yo, I'm coming to Boston. I'm doing all this sort of thing. They were like, oh, so what you need? I said, I need y'all to buy some books. That's what I need y'all to do. I need this and I need that. And we're having real conversations. But I think it all started from when I was first booked. I was just me from the beginning. That doesn't work for everybody. I didn't know how to do this in my 20s. I only started doing this in my late 30s. And I think it's because I was tired. And I couldn't never fit into a box. And so if my brain is about celebrating difference, I'm gonna show up differently every time you see me.
So Ms. Williams, we got another question in the chat.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
From Mr. Shane. So he touched on the interview again. So he asked, what are some exercises that can help with your interview pitch?
Some exercises that can help, like I always tell people, you already know what the most common interview questions are, and really practicing them till they sound effortless. And what I'd also do is ask like someone who has no skin in the game, to ask you interview questions and see how you perform, right? And that was one of the secrets to my success is I didn't ask family and friends to listen to me. I wanted people who had no skin in the game. So either I was going to make them like it, or they were going to be like, come back. Because when the people don't have skin in that game, they're going to be brutally honest with you, right? Another thing is record yourself answering questions. How do you sound to yourself? Do you sound confident? Do you, you can even videotape yourself. Do you even look confident? Do you look like a deer in the headlights? I also would mind my background for things that I'm so proud that I've achieved, right? So when my sister Keisha said, Shark Tank, CNN, Wall Street Journal, movies, documentaries, 2 billboards in Times Square, written about in Forbes magazine, 2 out of my 3 books were reviewed by Forbes magazine. In fact, one of the articles was called Pitching is Bitching. I said, wait a minute, Forbes is cursing in their articles? I said, oh, we didn't change the game. We didn't done that, right? So those all sound good. But my sister knows that's nothing compared to I haven't had a drink of alcohol in over 5 years. When I lost the love of my life, I went into a deep depression and became a severe alcoholic. I couldn't even live without it. And it'd be 5 years clean and sober on my 43rd birthday. 5 years to the day. And I know people are like, oh, you can't say that. The hell I'm not. I am. Because trust and believe, there's someone who's been through the same thing. And since no one brings it up, they don't bring it up. And Keisha will tell you, when you listen to some of the things that I say, we have a mutual aunt. He's like, Precious, I'm gonna need you, auntie. You came up in a different time. I'm a real professional, but I also know that too many people are sold the glitz and glamour things. And it's not gold at all. It just looks good. I want people to know that whatever mistake they've ever made, you can come back from it. And those same people that said I'd never be on stage, let me tell you where they are in my inbox or talking to my agent, because I'm supposed to not be here. So now you know what time it is. I can come back, but that's God's grace and mercy. And it's also taking action when people said I couldn't. And so I started speaking for free. My first speaking engagement out of the Bowery Mission Women's Center was the Bottomless Closet. And you know what Bottomless Plaza did? Introduced me to Viacom. So spoke to the executive, Love and Hip Hop. Oh yeah. MTV, BET, VH1. Oh yeah. And they paid handsomely. And I'd only walked out of homelessness 4 months. Oh yeah. And me being in the Wall Street Journal in November of last year. Me completing things that people said was impossible. If you don't have an Ivy League degree, how are you teaching at Harvard? Well, I did, because I have a skill set. They're not paying me to motivational speak. They're paying me to teach the business school students how to pitch differently, right? Like, I'm not Mark Zuckerberg, and I'm not I don't come from certain things. So if you don't, does that mean you shouldn't even get in the game? Hell no, I want you to get in the game, and I want you to make them bend to your will, right? And so just saying I'm gonna do it at Columbia, some things I do around the world. And so again, mind your background for the things that you're proud of. And yes, there are gonna be things that the world says they're more proud of. When I posted I've been 5 years clean and sober, and Keisha will tell you, that probably got the most reaction on social media, that I was celebrating 5 years clean and sober, 5 years of, being walking out on, Keisha, remember when I posted September 1st, 2021, I had been out of the Bowery Mission 3 years, and they swore up and down I was gonna come back. No. To getting into programs where they paid me to be a part of the program. I ain't paying for nothing. So my pitching skills got me out of darkness, and it got me out of homelessness. My rent is paid, and the pastor's still going to be who he is, and he's a wonderful person. And a woman that I was homeless with, she now lives on the second floor. Think about that. Who does that? So that's what I'm proud of, that I overcame it, and is now in my rear view mirror. And I'm moving forward, and I hope that people, whatever they've been through, can see through me. I'm not ashamed. I'm not gonna let anybody hold me back on the past, because I'll run and tell it first, and I'll get the story right. So, what's it like to pick the wrong business partner? I know what that happened. I know what that feels like. I know what it's like to be trashed on social media, and people believe it because they don't really know you. I was afraid to get back on social media. Today, I'm not afraid at all. Am I, Keisha? So yeah, the things I'm proud of is walking away from addiction, walking away from other people's fear, worry, and doubt, and their expectations. I know what my purpose is, and it's not everybody else's purpose.
Thank you for sharing these amazing stories with us, and congratulations for 5 years sober. That's just incredible. Hey, Wes, I saw you turn on your camera. You had a question in the chat box, but thought you might want to ask it in person on camera.
Y'all know I'll be about that water life, but if I'm feeling froggy, might be a Snapple Mango Madness.
Okay, Ms. Williams, my question is, how do you stay motivated with a constant barrage of no's?
How? Can I tell you? Okay, so yes, no still happen today. I actually was talking to my little mentee today, because she just started her company a year ago, and it can be slow going, even without the pandemic, it's slow going. And I said, I just had surgery 2 days ago. And there are my clients and friends who sent soft food for me to eat, because I had my front tooth bone grafted and everything. And I remember when I couldn't call on nobody. So today I got a text message from someone who works at a big company and thought we were going to move forward. My agent had been doing her thug bizzle, and they went another way. And, I sat there with that. And so I walked outside, and I had to remember everything in his time. I might have dodged a bullet. I really might have dodged a bullet. And the thing is, the price that I would have charged for my rates was lower than I would have gone. And so I think that reaffirms that You got to know your value. You got to ask for it and walk away. And that's cool. Another thing, the things that I thought I should have had when they came after the trauma, drama, and stress, I treasure it more. I think if y'all came into my apartment and see, like, awards are one thing, but when your clients send you crowns and they send you big blankets with your face all over it, and they send you little knickknack. Like, I have a client right now in front of me is Black angels. She sends them once or twice a month. She sent me a pillow with my face on it. If she sees me in a magazine, she'll have a plaque made for me. Do you hear what I'm saying? When they win, they make sure to drop that tea about me. And I'm like, no, that ain't me. That's you. I'm just a part of the journey. And so you can't win them all. And I'm okay with that. I was just in Louisiana in December. My book was up for Book of the Year, Author of the Year. Keisha knows I ain't win nothing, but I was the keynote. And I was looking as cute as I was so cute. And the women who won were like, I never thought I could go up against you and win. And it's like I heard God say, other people need to win too. You've outsold everybody. You got to be the keynote in every book you had. They snatched from you, paid you, and left you alone. You won by stepping up and stepping out. And you are just telling people you ain't gonna win it all. Even Beyonce can't win it all. The ones that I'm meant to win, I'm cool with. And the ones that I thought I may have won it, there's always something bigger coming. I had a 5-year, 10-year plan walking out of the Bowery Mission Women's Center. Done in 1 year. So some things I'm still growing through growing pains. Like to go from nothing to success on a fast track faster than I did the first time, that's hard. And then people putting expectations on me or saying you should do this and you should do that. And it's like, hold up. I just walked out of a situation and I need time to grow into the next level, right? And so, yeah, hope I answered your question. The no's are going to come, but I'm telling you, them yeses be so sweet, so sweet. You know, I got into a major magazine before, won their competition. Those people will not speak to me to this day because I questioned them about something about a check they owed, will not feature me. And at first I thought, oh, they'll get some act right. Ain't got no act right. And you know what? That's okay. I've gotten tossed out of better places and they always bring me back. So it's cool. So you may be dodging a bullet. You might be in the wrong network, or you're not talking to the people that can really move you forward. Again, I didn't start off with LinkedIn as clients. I never started off with all these people as clients, but being in the right network, I was introduced to people. So when I ain't had a coin, you know what they was doing? Get you a year here. I'm gonna pay for you to be here for a year. And then when you get yourself on your feet, then you can start paying. I'm like, word, keep it on the low. Okay. And just come in like you do. And then bless them with a bitch. And they gonna be your clients. I was like, all right, cool. We good. Okay.
Okay, you really whispering. Okay.
I was.
Okay.
He's like, I'm gonna need you to, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But that's how they were talking to me, like, keep it on the low. I'm like, I'll be on the low. I mean, how often does a Black woman get booked, busy, and paid with one tooth and one front tooth? They called me hashtag toothless aggression. Never stop being booked, busy, and paid. I promise you I never did. You know, I put a little fake thing in there. You know how we do. But I'm telling you, my first thing I had to speak at Microsoft, and I remember I was like, oh my God. And Keisha, you remember this because I went on camera. I was doing a Facebook Live, and I said, y'all, gotta do a presentation for Microsoft. I ain't got no front tooth. I said, I know I tell you how to keep going regardless, right? I'm a little scared in these streets. And you know what people are like, you better go in there like you own it. And I went in, and the first thing I did was a self-deprecating comment. And they all started laughing. I'm like, man, anybody pay you for it too? Let's get it. And so I was going ham and cheese, and one of my friends was listening. She said, Precious, you said something. You were with executives and you said something. She said, she said, I thought you would be totally different around certain people. I said, no. I said, did you hear them cough? Did you hear them say, that's not true? No. They talk like that too.
Oh, wow. So I think there's some more questions in the chat.
There sure is. There's a great one about the courage and vulnerability it takes to tell some of these stories that you've been sharing with us. Deborah, did you want to ask that? I see that your camera's on. You have one in the chat. There you go.
Yeah.
Great.
Hi. So I was just asking, hi y'all, how y'all doing? So I just wanted to ask, like, how do you get people motivated to share vulnerable stories? Like, you are very comfortable in your life, your journey, your story. Congratulations on your soberness, and it's great because you motivate others to speak about. You share your challenges, the barriers and things you've overcome to motivate others and find their way. What can I do to get others to get that comfortability that you have? It's warming, it's welcome, and it's very connective.
First of all, dope question, another dope question. Queen, I just want to say this, Deborah. Just like with pitching, you have to know your audience, right? And so when I was first with LinkedIn, Google, Microsoft, Federal Reserve Bank, I didn't talk about these things, right? Because I'm being paid to train. So if you're paying me to train on different aspects of the sales pitch, the sales scripting, some of these stories can't come in because I have to start from a powerful place before I take you behind the scenes. When I'm doing a keynote, that's different. So I can think of a whole lot of different stories of things I've had to overcome. In fact, one of my queens had nominated me to be the keynote speaker at the Howard County Chamber of Commerce on May 17th for their women's event. And I called her and I said, what would make you do that? She said, you're being watched at so many levels. And she said, what I think people don't understand is they think that you only just tell stories, and that's just not true. I said, it's not. I said, but knowing who your audience is and the things that they would need to hear. So we got to start from power before we go to the background, because in the wrong environment, they're always going to see me, the addict, the homeless chick, oh no. So I got to start off a certain way. And what was I being hired for? So if I'm being hired to train on sales pitching, sales scripting, then we're going to keep it those kind of stories there, right? If I'm being brought in, like LinkedIn brought me in, they call it LinkedIn Learn In Week for their interns. So they booked me to train the interns on how to successfully introduce themselves to their higher ups, to stay top of mind, and all that kind of stuff, right? And I thought that was very, very fun. I mean, the young people, they were eating it up, they was just eating it up. But I can't tell them these type of stories because that ain't what they need to hear right now. They need to see a powerful woman who happens to be Black going in. For some other, like when people are in pitch competitions, we only gonna focus on pitching. We can talk about that story about MSNBC because now I'm looking like I'm popping. And then for audiences where people have lost hope, like even the Professional Photographers of America, in front of 10,000, that organization subsidized every ticket for those photographers, and then they subsidized part of their hotel room. So, I was going there like an Instagram body, everything was paid for me, But photographers, a lot of them are wanting to give up in this environment. And they booked me to give them hope. And so the first keynote was Mike Michalowicz. He has Profit First. He wrote the book Profit First. There was me, and then there was Kaplan Mowbray, big time speaker here in New York. And because some people didn't know me, when I took that stage at 8 a.m. in the morning, I'm thinking, who's really going to show up? From the time I opened my mouth, and I had no real voice. I had lost my voice. So I was speaking as much as I could. But people on the outside who didn't even know they were going to come to hear me, they said it sounded like church because they could hear people screaming. They could hear people da-da-da. And they came in, they were like, yo, I was just trying to get some breakfast, but yo, I'm like, y'all was popping. I said, well, we popping. They said, yeah. So when I got finished for that hour, they had a 30-minute Q&A. I'm walking out, people taking pictures with me like I'm a boy bander from the 90s. Girl, I thought I was the Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block. I thought it was NSYNC, Justin Timberlake. I don't know who I thought I was, right? I thought I was little Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Barack Obama up in these streets. And so Professor Photographers of America, they said, can we speak with you for 2 minutes? And they were like, how are you doing all of this? And they said, do you get this all the time? I said, yeah, I expect that. And now you know. And all my merchandise sold out. People waited 2 hours for me to sign things, right? And then walked into 2 paid speaking engagements. I'm like, you don't want that. And so my job is also to share the type of stories that people need to hear. LinkedIn brought me in to teach on swag. Are you serious right now? But we ain't gonna call it that, but that's what y'all just said to me. Yeah, we want you to have them dripping like Beyonce's swag goo. I got you. No problem. They didn't want to see nothing in advance. They were like, you've worked with us many times. Kill it. So you have to understand, just like with pitching, you have to know who the audience is. You have to know what are some of the things you can talk about versus some things you can't. And how I speak in the corporate world is different from nonprofit, which is different from foundations, which is different from speaking to teens, which is different from, I won the Dreamwaker Speaker of the Year last year. And at the event, they wanted to raise $50,000. Not only did they cross $50,000 in 2 hours, I had people there from KPMG, from all of these different organizations who were proud that I was Speaker of the Year, meaning I spent my time talking to rural and urban children so they could see someone who looks like them that wasn't in entertainment and wasn't in sports. No disrespect to them, but that's kind of what, how some people were relegated. We could only be popular in those things. And I'm like, no, but we can do it in business too. In fact, there's more me's than you will ever know. And so it's important who's in your network. So when big things happen, they cheering you on, plus they drop us some coin like, oh. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Queen.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I will work on my audience as well.
There's a good follow-on question to that from Kai, talking about the vulnerability and the courage, but also the emotion that comes with that, and sometimes being overwhelmed by the emotion. So how do you maintain your composure without just completely falling apart? Is it practice? Is there a skill to it?
Well, I've been a professional speaker for 27 years. So there are sometimes I will get a little overwhelmed with the emotion coming out of me. I spoke at the Profit Con 2021, and Mike Michalowicz, that was his conference, right? And they have all of these big time CPAs and accounting firms. And I had never met him. And so when I met him, he was like, oh yeah, you're closing out the conference both days. Word? He said, yeah. I was like, you just met me. He said, real people do their homework. He said, you know how to set it off and bring energy. So either we have to start with you or we have to end with you. What's it going to be? Listen, I set it off. He said, you got your books? He said, because we bought books for our multi-million dollar companies. He said, but we got some people here who, they could creep on the come up. He said, so where you want that set up at? So the first night I spoke for 7 minutes on stage, right? And you know, I'm good because I'm a pitch master. I know 7 minutes. Killed the game. Walked out. There's my table with my books, my merch. The line went all throughout the lobby and outside. Now, sure, there were other people selling books and merch, and there were other speakers, but people were in my line. And I said, okay. Now, you know, that's making him like, okay, I chose the right one. Second night, I speak for a whole hour, killing the game, murdering the game. Afterwards, they all want to go have drinks. I don't drink, right? But y'all know y'all got some vittles for us, sister. We on the water, hook a sister up. So I'm sitting out there and everybody's chopping it up or whatever. I see some of my sisters, and one had actually booked me for February 22nd. So I'm speaking to her mastermind group, right? Paid, you know what time it is. So I'm just sitting there and I'm looking out and I'm thinking back over life. I wasn't supposed to be here by my own hand or even by my mother's hand. But to answer your question, when I was on stage, I don't know if you can tell your story in such a disconnected way that there comes a moment where it hits you like, it wasn't Black History Month. It wasn't Women's History Month. I'm on somebody else's stage who made a decision when they met me, I'm closing. And it didn't get lost on me on stage. It didn't even get lost on me. And I was like, it was worth the hassle for the tassel. It was. Everything I went through is to free others, especially since I don't have six-pack abs or Brazilian butt lift. 43 years old, used to be 327. I am nowhere near that today. But the things that should have helped me back, I used them as fuel to move me forward. And so do I have moments? I might get caught up in a moment like, wow. So with my TED Talk, when I was giving that TED Talk, there was so much emotion in me. And I'm looking at the audience is cracking up, like they just going ham. Walked off the stage, 2 paid speaking engagements while I'm on stage, and that made like, where them dollars at? And I'm like, I was just trying to get my thing out. No. So it's a delicate dance. I've been doing this for a long time, but there are moments where you're truly in that, I forgot what it was like to be beaten by my mother with broomsticks and extension cords and belt buckles. I forgot her hands around my throat. I forgot when she hit me in the head and I had twin peaks. I forgot when she punched me in my face in front of people in the neighborhood. Nobody did anything. I forgot. And all of that came up in that moment. And whereas that could have been a bad TED Talk where I'm going to leave them there. Oh no, we're about to go ham and cheese. Because that Hollywood actor was sure not flying me out like an Instagram thotty. Yeah, I heard. And I listen. And, I started dating up because I started to believe I could. Because if I can get him, I can get somebody else. And I did. So it's worth the hassle. And I'm standing before y'all today, I'm so excited. And I think when you can have real conversations and not like, oh, and I did this and I did that and I was on a private jet and I was on a private, yeah, okay, that's cute. That's real cute. I mean, I ain't done that, but we can't show them pictures. Not that we do anything crazy, but some people are like, dude, people on social media want to take pictures of everything. These real G's, they're not trying to do that. They like enjoy, eat, mingle. No pictures. Like Northwest said, no pictures, please. Enjoy yourself.
Hey, Tiana, I think over to you for your question.
Yeah, so I have a question. So coming up, listening to you and starting my own LLC and nonprofit. So I've been out here in Korea for 4 years, and within the community here in Korea, I get a lot of support here. So I guess going back now to the States and having my own, self-consciousness of me being from Brooklyn, and now I know now I'm pitching to people, that individuals that I want to recognize and understand my craft and understand the importance and the passion that I have for what I love to do and what I'm bringing to the table and want to see grow. How do I separate the two pitches? Is there two different pitches for LLC and nonprofit? And
They are like how would pitch a nonprofit is very different from how would pitch a for-profit company. They're just different, right? And they have a different audience, they have different needs. And so you're definitely going to have to separate them, even if you're talking to the same person, just so that they understand that there's a reason why there's a nonprofit component. There's a reason why there's a for-profit, right? And you're going to attract different audiences with that. So the pitches I may use for my books, the pitches I may use for big tech, I cannot use for Dress for Success and Bottomless Closet. So yeah, you will separate them and focus on what is the need and the challenge of those particular ones, and then go from there. Is your goal to raise money? Is it to get sponsors? Like, what is it?
so right now, for nonprofits, charitable purposes, and just basically, I'm leaning more towards helping children in need. I came from a background. I got a lot of brothers and sisters, 10 brothers and sisters, and so family is really big for me. So I met a lot of family members when my mom was in like the shelter that touched me, that that were homeless with us. And I told myself, whenever I get into the position to be able to start my own nonprofit organization, I want to be able to, focus that on that. So that's my goal right now. I'm still in the planning phase on how I want to do it. I built the framework and got everything legalized and everything. So right now I'm just in the framework right now. So yeah, I'm just at the drawing board right now, see how I want to work it.
Well, I totally appreciate you asking that question. And listen, I feel like when I walked out of the Bowery mission, I did have to start over. So even though Perfect Pitches started in 2015, it was inactive from 2016 to 2019, right? And so starting over, and I knew I wanted to be wildly successful. So I had to make a decision. You remember that song, who you with? Who you with? And I'm gonna be with the successful ones. I can't afford it, but my talent will get me through this door, and I'm gonna do it, regardless of what anybody says. And I didn't have all the answers, but I knew that network was gonna be the game changer. And so there were a lot of people who were like, be in this group. I'm like, these people are still doing the same thing they were doing last year. I'm good. You got to be stepping your game up. You step your vocab up. You got to do something, right? And having gone through my homeless journey, having gone through my addiction journey, it is important for me to always give back. Always. Always. So I will speak at Dress for Success, Bottomless Closet, Bowery Mission. I'm going to help raise money. And that's what I do. Right? Dream wakers. These are things that are very important to me. Young people in rural and urban environments, women in transition. How do I do that? By connecting my network to them and also showing up and showing out. In addition, what my company does is show others how to pitch themselves no matter what space that they're in, so that when I'm gone, they still have a solid foundation to keep going. I hope that answers your question.
You did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Precious, we got another question here from Howard.
Howard.
Hi, thank you, Jacqueline. Hi, Ms. Precious. I appreciate it. First off, this has been phenomenal. I did not know who you were. I just saw the title a couple months ago, or maybe a couple weeks ago, that said, what the title was. And I was like, that is something I'm interested in, right? So probably 30 minutes into this, I Google you and I said, let me figure out who she is, because I'm feeling this, you know what I mean? I'm feeling this, it's legit, So then I go to your website. So my question is, I saw your prices and everything. Am I getting you when I book? am I talking to you? Are you advising, coaching me? Is what I want to know.
I mean, Keisha, thank you. Yes, you're getting me.
Okay, that's all. That was my question.
So if you want to book some time, let us sister now. No, you're getting me. You're getting.
Okay,
If
that
you're
was
doing
my
the
question.
digital products and stuff like that, that's still me. There's already recorded videos, but you're doing me.
Gotcha. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Sir, I definitely vouch for that. I definitely vouch for that, sir. Let's say we are blood sisters.
Like for real.
I vouch for that. Same mother, but she
Yep.
is who she says she is, and it will be her that will be giving you the service.
How are y'all feeling about this? How like are y'all like y'all feeling it? Y'all like I'm gonna need you to step your game up, sis.
Your
Well,
energy
I have
is
some-
phenomenal.
I got some questions. I got
I love it.
a couple of questions that was direct. Had a direct to me real quick. So it was asked earlier. You said that you're an author of 3 books. What are they, and where can they find them?
Bam! Because you got to be. I'm not only the client. I'm the pitching president. What? Okay, so my first book is Bad Bitches and Power Pitches for women entrepreneurs and speakers only. And this book came out when I was 40. This book teaches you you need to know the psychology behind pitching, right? And so whereas other books will tell you just different prompts, oh no, there are 7 branding personas to pitching, right? And you can unstoppable. Are you unstoppable? Are you flawed? Are you funny? Are you mysterious? Are you ruled by power? Are you ruled by numbers? Are you creative? This book breaks down, these are the 7 type of pitch people I've seen in real life, no matter what industry they are. There's 7 of them. And then I link it to influencers and celebrities that they're most like. And then I show you, who are you? And there are questions all throughout this to ask yourself, which one or 2 are you most like? I am unstoppable, but I'm also deeply flawed. You wouldn't think the combination would work, but it does. Because you're going to keep telling me no, and I'm going to be in your face because I know you're going to tell me yes. And what you're going to do when you tell me no, I'm going to keep going hard in the paint. Like Jordan, what did Drake say? Jordan, 96, 97, back to back, right? And so you need to know who you are as a pitch person. My second book is Bad Bitches and Power Pitches, the workbook. So these are different prompts based on your persona, based on the audience, based on who you're speaking to, what type of pitch you need to have in that environment and for that audience that's going to help you do what you need to do. Stand out in a crowded marketplace, be the only choice that matters, and get your stuff sold. You want to get media? Trust me. I mean, you've heard the media I was in, and I ain't paid for none of it. Let me say it again. I ain't paid for none of it. Not Shark Tank, not Forbes, not CNN, not MSNBC, not movies, not documentaries. Baby, no, I ain't paid for none of that. And that's what you call earned media. No advertorials. They came to me, right? Podcast. I'm not begging nobody. They coming to me because I've made a name in the marketplace. And as my sister knows, when you create your own niche and you dominate with your pitch, they can't do nothing to you. My third book, Pitching for Profit, the Bad Bitches Playbook to Convert Conversations into Currency. I don't know if y'all can see, I finally put myself on the cover. And I thought with my third book, I should put myself on the cover. The first 2 I was afraid that people would buy it because they were like, oh, she's probably talking about like ridiculous stuff. But by this point, I was like, I'm the killer pitch master. You need to know. This is what a full-figured diva thirsty on her grind looks like. This book is all about showing you how to build and rebuild your network and to monetize it, right? How to get them to pitch you in places you didn't even know existed. When I stand before companies, some of these companies I've never heard of, but because no one talks about them, no one knows of them. But they got money, they got influence, they got power, and they got great referrals. How do you get those around you to start pitching you? Yeah, we all need to know that. Again, I walked out of homelessness on September 1st, 2018, and was at Viacom in January. Who does that? And then Saturday Night Live, In Style Magazine, JG. We can keep it going. So those are my 3 books. I have my website. You can get them from my website. You can also get them from Amazon. You can also get these from Amazon. You can get these from my website. I hand sign, but if you all are in a foreign country, you might want to get it on Amazon. So I don't know how to get it to you. But yeah, you can get this and everything else on my website. You know, when I'm meeting with people, I meet one-on-one and Zoom. It's just us. And I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring, because I really want you to see yourself in a different light. A lot of us picture ourselves the same way. And I'm like, there's some things you're not bringing to the table. I think we need to talk about these things because I'm going to hear what you're saying and what you're not. So those are the 3 books. And this book were reviewed by Forbes magazine. This book had a billboard in Times Square. This book had a billboard in Times Square. And then my 4th book is coming out in September. It's called Queen Bitch, The Life and Legacy of the Killer Bitch Master. I also am a part of a book coming out on International Women's Day called Heels to Deals. It's about successful women sales women, right? How did we get there? We all came from different backgrounds to get to where we got. Some of us are entrepreneurs. Some of us are, big in the organization in sales. And so there are 33 of us. And I think my chapter is it's either number 2 or number 3. So they know what time it is. Any other questions?
Oh, gotcha. And just so people know, the books that she just placed out there, these are the books that the first 6 people who ask questions will get. The first set is book 1 and 2, because those go together with the mug. And then the second set is just book 3 with the mug, and they will be random on how they're being sent out. So they'll be random. So it's either set 1 or set 2. But either way, it's value added. Either way, it's value added. And Precious, did you give a way that anybody can connect with you? Because I know like Mr. Howard said he looked you up, but how can people connect with you if they want to get in contact you on your web address or whatever?
Okay, so I'm going to share that information with y'all right now, and I'm also going to put it in the chat. Is that okay, Keisha? If I put it in the chat too?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right, everyone. So again, I'm Precious.
I have one more question, Keisha. Can I slide one more question in? I know we running short on time.
I wasn't gonna end it. Go ahead, Wes.
Okay, so Ms. Williams, my question is this. You said that you started believing that you could date up. What changed?
So I'm gonna be honest. So my sister Keisha and my sister Nikki came and visited me a long time ago in New York. I definitely wasn't in the most healthy place. And I was dating a man. I was dating a man who wasn't good for me, but he proposed, whatever. It is what it is. He's gone. He's been gone like a thief in the night. And he can never pay his part of rent. And I know that's a big thing for me. Like, oh, so I gotta do everything? Oh, okay. And so one day I told him I have his half of rent, and I had to go out and do something. Y'all, I walked through that door and I felt like wind went past me, right? And you know how you start looking? I said, I don't see his stuff. I opened up that closet, the hangers were still, I said, okay. And I got to move on. I've dated some people that make no sense, absolutely no sense, but I was dating at the level of my esteem. And so that was prior to me going into the Bowery Mission Women's Center. Like, so many things happened. When I came out, there was a postal worker who always was trying to holler, always right across the street, right? And to this day, we've only been on one date. I was like, okay, is there something like wrong with me or whatever? Well, on LinkedIn, and I'm telling y'all the truth, Men be hollering at me on LinkedIn. I'm thinking of all the places to holler at somebody, LinkedIn. So I started dating a man who was an ESPN commentator. Don't ask me what his name is. But I was just coming out of darkness. And he was treating me well, you know, taking me Ocean City, Maryland. I was going places. And he was just talking. I was like this. Deaf mute, had nothing to say. But he underestimated me. Because on paper, everything is good about him. He's a cool dude, but he's used to being the one with the shine. And I need to shine too. I need to shine because if you ain't gonna be here, man, I need to still shine till my heart stops. And so I started coming out of my shell. He would laugh. Oh, that's not really gonna work. Oh, you need to change your voice, your accent. Oh, okay. That's what the actor said. He's no longer here. Okay, so started coming out of my shell, and I started noticing that he wouldn't call as much and all sorts of things. And I had an event last May 22nd last year. He thought nobody would show up. Sold out. He's behind me talking to people. Oh, you know, I'm so used to people asking me for my autographs. Okay. May 23rd, that was it. I wasn't going back. I wasn't going back. And I said, I need to own my voice. If you don't want me, let me exit stage left. If there's a particular type of woman you want, go get her. I'm not gonna fight you. I'm not gonna trash you on social media because living well is the best revenge. And so when you thought I couldn't do it, baby, I wrote 3 #1 bestsellers. I'm still waiting on a book from you. I've been on television, stuff like that. You can mess up on television. Next thing you know, you cancel. I don't have that threat. So I'm gonna just do my thing and I'm gonna let you watch me. So me starting to date better, I had to get the confidence in myself that I can do even better than that. And I still don't have 6-pack abs and a Brazilian butt lift. And I don't begrudge young women. I was young once, silly. Do what you gotta do. But you, in time, I pray you meet this age. I pray, because a lot of people don't. And I'd have been to hell and back. And I feel like Tom Brady, baby, it's the 4th quarter. If you've never been here before, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a pitch ain't one.
Oh, hit me.
Girl, you know, like Missy, hit me. So that's what it is. And like I said, and have I been dating since, baby, with the Rona and the Omarion? I'm good. Like, I'm gonna need, I don't want you breathing on me because I make my money from speaking. So I'm gonna need you to be over there. If you wanna holler, let me know. But if you come with that BS, I'm gone. I'm not even playing with y'all. That's why you need to date someone younger because they don't know no better.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, Precious, do you have a couple more minutes?
Girl, yeah.
Okay, so just for those who might have some other engagements, I'm going to do a quick wrap up, but we're going to stay on the line for a little bit longer just in case anyone has questions that they just didn't want to ask to the crowd. We'll just stay on. So, but just a quick wrap up. So I don't know about any of y'all, but I've definitely learned some things this morning. I have laughed, I smiled. I may have had a single tear slide down my face. I don't know. I put up the church hand and everything in between. This was very value added. Precious, I thank you. We thank you, definitely from the Morning Calm Chapter of the Rocks. If you have enjoyed yourself and you want to get involved in the local chapter, please don't hesitate. Make sure you drop your emails in the chat below if you're not on our distro, and you know you're not on our distro if you didn't see no email from us. So go ahead and drop your emails below and make sure we add you to the distro. And we will be having another interest meeting in March. So be on the lookout for that. But you won't know if you're not on the distro. So add your email addresses, please. And again, if you are in the top 6 that asked those questions, please, please, please go back to Jackie's text in the chat and make sure you email the Morning Calm Chapter his email with your name and address. and we'll get that up to you. So your mailing address, if you're in the 411, don't worry about it. So Shane and Major Pinnell, don't worry about it. We'll just get that up to you at work. But anybody else, oh, and Miss Deborah, anybody else, make sure you email the Morning Calm chapter and we'll make sure we get those to you. Now, she mailed those to me, so it might be a couple weeks, but it's just like when people owe you money, you know you're getting it. Yeah, you know you're getting it. So at this point, Precious is still on the line. So if you have any questions, please feel free. She's here. She's here for you all. So we'll stay on another 5-10 minutes to see if there's anything in the crowd. If not, we'll drop off, and we hope you guys have a beautiful morning. And just know, be prepared to pitch for your life. Rehearse in front of people who don't have any skin in the game. And I hope that, oh, you're welcome. And that's really all we got. We'll be on the line. We'll stay on the line. Thank you all.
Some of y'all got some questions. Some of y'all got some stuff y'all want to get off your chest.
Oh, I just wanted to say thank you very much. Like I was telling Keisha earlier, I haven't been this motivated and inspired in a very long time. So I appreciate that. I actually needed that because I was in a little moment there, but you definitely just pulled me out. So thank you very much. And I look forward to reading your books. I look forward to watching all your YouTube videos. I'm following you now. So I will definitely be looking at, because, you know, I'm pretty much starting my life over right now, changing career fields and everything. So you definitely lit a fire in me. So I, again, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Shane. I'm so glad to get to see you too. I think that's just wonderful. Thank you. And listen, I just started over 3-4 times. So yeah.
Precious, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to get with Keisha later because she's been hiding you this whole time. I didn't even know all of this goodness over here, and I'm filled up. I'm motivated. You really hit me with that interview section when you talked about you responding to the questions in the same old boring fashion. So now I'm motivated to go practice, and I'm gonna be signing up for some of your services. So thank you so much. Really appreciated everything, and thank you for your honesty, because it is so it's overwhelming, and it lets me know that any story is a good story. It's just how you pitch it.
Thank you so much. It's so good when you hear from the men too, and I'm so glad, y'all. And I also want y'all to know, I have a free pitching quiz, so see where you are, and it'll tell you where you're going. It does the algorithm, and it's free. Something else for those who want to be speakers or who want to be able to present better. I have a booked and busy speakers boot camp that's coming up, and we'll be doing that on a monthly basis. And so it's a small, intimate group, because people seem to love me more when they can just kind of touch me and get to ask those kind of questions. And also, I don't do fluff and BS at all. Like we ain't got time for that. Like, I want you all to be able to sell yourself, anything you have that you want others to take advantage of. And you also have to know how to get out there so the right market can see you. I didn't have a big ad budget, so we wasn't spending no ads. But what I had to do, where's my target market? And I'm gonna go find them, and I'm about to show you why I'm better than all these people you think are better than me. So yeah. So if you want to get information about the Booked and Busy Speakers Boot Camp, please let me know. I can put the information in the chat if Keisha will let me. And keep the questions coming, or the thoughts that you have, let me know. Because thank you, Keisha, for this. I needed this. I did.
No, I think we all needed it. Preston, could you well, I don't
We
know
need
if
to
you
have
look
this
like
monthly.
You said, what'd you say, Shane?
We need to do this monthly.
Yeah, you definitely motivated me. You really definitely motivated me. I like your confidence, and you definitely lit some fire in me, because sometimes I get into the fact where I think people are looking at me rather than what, I have to present. So I have to get out of that, that self-consciousness right there. So you definitely lit some fire in me.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Precious, can you give us some lessons learned? Like, you've been through the gauntlet, but far as pitching is concerned, because it's relevant right now, what are some lessons learned that we can take away from this right now?
Number one, fortune favors the bold. Favors the bold.
Say that one more time.
Fortune.
For people in the back. For the people in the back.
I'm sorry. Fortune favors the bold. Right?
Okay. Okay.
And there's a reason why I say that, right? So not everybody needs to know everything you're doing, but I always said things because I wanted people to tell me what I couldn't do. So if you ever read my books, you'll see who's the Burger King to your McDonald's. Because McDonald's always is over Burger King regardless. But if there were no competition, you would never know who's number one, right? So Burger King probably has better burgers, but them fries getting people coming back to McDonald's, And so when I said what I was going to do and people said it was impossible, part of that is my race. Part of that is I don't have the regular Hollywood supposed features, but yeah, I got two of these dope men. At least that on paper look or look good and sound good, and in person they were, but we were just incompatible. And me telling both homeboys, you treat me like a stepchild, it's gonna be a problem. You treat me like a stepchild, it's gonna be a problem for you. Because when I blow up, we're not gonna talk about what could have been. I'm used to being underestimated. And so that's why I go ham and cheese on people. So when I say fortune favors the bold, fortune really does favor the bold. I don't know about that, y'all. So fortune favors the bold. I want you to have, number two, an unquestionable faith in yourself. All these people that you may see, for the most part, they had to have the faith. The people who came from very little, I'll put it like that. There was no blueprint when I was growing up. There was no blueprint for what I do around me. Keisha, do you remember when we were in school, I was, in certain classes, I was trying to do big things. But when I came home, listen, Mama wasn't trying to hear that. So school was my respite. I got to talk to people. In fact, I remember at Buddha Elementary, I had a teacher named Narcissus Bryant. And I always liked her name, Narcissus. I was like, where did that come from? And she had me in gifted and talented classes. My parents never would think I was gifted and talented, but there was always people who saw things. And that's why I always knew that people would tear you down, but the right people, they can see things. And so I don't want to call it like manipulation. Even when I was at the Bowery Mission, when I was in and out of psych wards, they used to call me the mayor. When I came through, people got fed. My friends would come in, they weren't delivering fast food. They would have full course meals and then bring stuff for the other people. I didn't realize I had that kind of power. So when I was in and out of psych wards, even the staff was happy to see me. Be like, man, you know how to get people quiet because they'll eat that food and leave us the hell alone. When you come up in here, people want to hear your poems. They want to hear this. I've been in a psych ward since 2017. So if you could be the mayor of a psych ward, you could be homeless and people still try to send you a little coin because they're like, yo, I know you're not supposed to have this. I'm like, yo, I keep it quiet too, I had a dentist when I was at the Bowery Mission. He used to call it Fresh Fridays. He was a cutie. And I thought maybe we had some, we weren't. He grew up in Chappaqua, so I'll tell you what he looks like. One day I came in and, I'm tired. I didn't want to go in that day. He was cleaning my teeth and he put something on my lap and it felt heavy. I was like, he said, it's Fresh Fridays. That's how I know. And it was a laptop. I was like, oh. He said, well, you got big dreams and I want to make sure you see them. Bro, man, I'm on like Medicaid. He said, but you won't be on Medicaid forever. He said, you have big dreams. I'm gonna make them happen. I took it to the Bowery. They were like, what'd you do to get this? Because we just giving up booty for laptops nowadays. Okay, no, we weren't. And one of the ladies wouldn't give it to me and the other lady would. And what did I do? I said, Queen, I just want to know what's that Wi-Fi password? No, she wasn't supposed to give it to me, but I asked anyway. And you got to know who to ask. She was like, here it is. She said, don't let anybody see you on it. I said, ain't nobody gonna know. And so you have to have unquestionable faith in yourself. And that I didn't do what I did just for myself. I did it for others and to show people, how do you move through a room full of vultures? You gotta know how to play the games they play and get to play them better. Number 3, you always hear the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that as women age, you're made to feel like you don't matter. I feel like I'm the best time of my life because people see me now. I feel like I grew into my looks because I used to, my sister growing up, you know how pretty she is. Come on now, y'all know what, y'all know. And I was always in the background. And I always thought, man, I don't want to be smart. I want to be pretty like her.
You tried it, but go ahead.
I did, I did. But the beautiful thing is, you're more beautiful inside than you are outside. And I let other people make me feel bad and make me feel like the only thing that mattered was beauty. And I had to develop my personality, and I developed the ability to read a room that most people cannot, and to know who's the power people and who aren't, right? And so at 43, I love what I see when I look in the mirror. Makeup, no makeup, one tooth, no tooth. I got people who will show up for me. If I'm sick, they coming. They send in groceries. They're showing love. And number 4, treasure the relationships you have, but don't be afraid to make new relationships. So even though I'm not dating now, when I was in Louisiana, my Lyft driver, he wanted me to call him Fat Boy. So I paid him for one ride from the airport to my hotel. Do you know he drove me all over Louisiana for the 4 days I was there, never charged me? I was like, Fat Boy, I'll pay for your food. He wasn't even a fat boy. He was just a chubby boy. He wasn't no fat boy. Do you know he contacts me and be like, when you coming back? He said, because I want you to meet my mom. Really? Really, Fat Boy? Okay. He took me to different places. And everyone was so nice. We drove past Drew Brees' house. And oh my God, I was like, every house on this block is hot. The block is hot. And the reason why I bring him up, not because of some date or anything, because we didn't date, but I felt like some of the time I was like, this does feel like a date. That boy. And he fell off of he was doing carpentry and fell off and sliced open his head. So he has like the scar. And I sat and I looked at him, and I hadn't laughed that much in so long. And I said, doggone it. Fat Boy could be my fat boy. But let's just keep it cool for right now. He took me to get beignets. It was like he was showing me the city. And the last time I was in that city, I was with the actor, and the actor's been dead for years. So what can happen in 10 years? So treasure the relationships you have now that actually make sense. Get rid of dead weight, because I had to do that before January 1st. I said, some of y'all got to go. Don't call me. I'll send you an email message. This chapter is closed. Don't even try to reach out. Some of y'all don't know how to deal with success. Some of y'all want to make lies about how I did it. That's cute. Keep that same energy when you see me. Just keep that same energy. You want to throw up all these great people? I said, but if these people were doing all this in your life, I know where I found you. And I know where you can be put back to. And that's why pay attention to your strong friends, strong women, strong men, because they need people to check on them too. More than anybody else. We've heard the suicides. We've had 3 brothers and sisters kill themselves. And I'm still here. So there's a guilt with that. But the fact that people know my backstory, they was checking in. Hey, you triggered? No, I'm not triggered. I'm grateful that the fat lady didn't sing on me, because I never would have saw this. Me and my sisters never would have reconnected. Their last impression of me is not who I am today. And to think that my sister, who I used to be so jealous of and want to be like, thinks I'm dope too. Can't put a price on that.
Ooh.
I mean, pitch, please.
Jane, did you have something? I saw your hand up.
No, I'm just pushing everything and it just accidental hit. But hey, you are dope, Precious.
Thank you. We trying to be 2 dope queens.
Did anybody else have anything from the gallery? Okay, well, party people in the place to be. It is 10:51 a.m. What time is it in New York? 8, 9? What time is it?
8:50. It's 8:51. It's 8:51. You know how we do.
Yeah, it's 10:51. So again, if nobody has anything, all hearts and minds are cleared. We're gonna go ahead and boop, scoot, and boogie.
We're gonna
on out of here.
Queen, Queen, is there any way to save the chat? Will you save the chat or something, Queen?
Ooh, Jackie, do you know how to save a chat?
I sure do. I got it right now.
Okay, because you need to have my sister send it to me, because I'd be liking to read this.
Absolutely.
Again, everybody, I'm Precious Williams. My website, my company's website is www.perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. On Facebook, I am at Perfect Pitch P. On Twitter, I'm at Perfect Pitch P. On Instagram, I'm at Perfect Pitches P. And my YouTube channel is Perfect Pitches by Precious. I have a LinkedIn live show usually every Sunday called Keeping It Real with the Killer Pitch Master. And reach out to me. My email address is precious@perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. If you know people seeking speakers, you can send them to perfectpitchesbyprecious.com. Drop that TM, show them my press page, show them how to work with me. You know how we do. I got it over here. And I'm so glad to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you for going overtime with me. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for going overtime. And the currency was just time. So thank you so much. And thank you all in the gallery for hanging in there. And again, you already have the handles and the resources on how to get in contact with her if you ever need her services, or just to hear, her journey on YouTube, and again, all of Facebook and Instagram. Y'all got it. So have a good morning and a good weekend. Good day.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
I'm calling you, Keisha.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Ooh, Jackie.
Yep, I'm still here.
So okay, so you had already stopped recording. Is that how? Oh, no, okay, I see it right there.
I'm gonna hit stop right now.
I don't even know. So how does that